Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you are wanting. You like taking thought beyond that which it has been before? Because that's what happens here. Things that have never been before into all of the universe occur because of you. Because of the combination of you, combination of us, because of the life experience that you bring to this pointed focused time. You like knowing that you create your own reality. You like knowing how you do it. You like doing it on purpose. That's the best part. Creating your own reality by sloppy thinking, by default, by focusing on what is and then just getting more of that, that's not so much fun, is it? But when you understand that the universe is responsive to you and that you can be deliberate about what you broadcast, that your thoughts are vibrational, your thoughts do broadcast, and they bring back exact replication of what you're broadcasting. So you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. There's no exclusion in this attraction-based universe. So when you say no, you're really saying yes. No to that thing you do not want is an active vibration. And when you light up on an active vibration, and you do it for a while, things begin to respond to that active vibration. One of the things that is fortunate, we love you so much, is that you are rather fickle. So nothing gets your attention for long. But you get these themes going on. Sometimes several different subjects feel almost the same way to you. And so you get this sort of habit of thinking, this attitude, this mood about things. You know how when you say about someone, that's a pessimistic person, or that's an optimistic person, you do have patterns. Although you could have some things that you are optimistic about and some things that you are pessimistic about. And if the things that you're optimistic about get more airtime, then everything in your world goes better. But if the thing that you are worried about or pessimistic about gets more airtime, more attention time, then most things in your life, other things in your life, are negatively affected by that. Because things come back to you at the time of your habit of thought, at the time of your offering of thought. You're always attracting, always calling to you. One of the things that trips you up sometimes is that you don't realize that when you ask, we call that the step one part of the deliberate creative process. Life just causes you to ask. When you ask, when you're in that asking mode, when you're in that, I don't like the way this is, I would like something better to come to me mode, that vibration of asking is not the vibration that will allow what you want to come back. Because the vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are different frequencies. The vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are different frequencies. And think about why. Because in the problem or in the question, there is an awareness of what is not wanted. I want this improvement over this. This isn't pleasing me, so I want this, but this isn't pleasing me, so I want this, but this isn't pleasing me. So what's dominant most of the time when most of you ask a question or have a problem is the problem, and the problem won't let the solution in as long as you're focused upon the problem. And so many people want to pray about things. They get into that place of strong need, and then they think no one's listening because their prayers aren't being answered. If you keep praying from that needy place, you keep practicing that needy vibration. And that's a different vibration than the vibration that allows the solution or the answer that you're looking for. And so that's why we explain to you that there is a step one, which is you asking, which is important, keep doing it. And a step two, which is source answering, that's a vibrational response to what you're asking for. That's a lining up of everything necessary to give you exactly what you are wanting. Everything with precision. Accurate precision. But if you stay in the asking mode while the answering is happening, you don't hear the answer. It's like setting your radio dial on one frequency and wanting to hear the song that's being broadcast on another frequency. It doesn't work. You got to tune your dial. So you've got to tune to the solution. which is not an easy thing to do, because when you're standing in the problem, it sort of kind of has your attention, doesn't it? But you've got to get your attention off of the problem and toward the solution, or off of that problem and onto anything else that feels better. So the solution to living happily ever after is get out there and mix it up. Stir up as much trouble as you can. Find all kinds of things that you want. I want that. I like that. I'd like that. I'd like that. Amend this, please. More of this, please. More of this, please. Less of that and more of that, and less of this and more of that, and less of this and more of that. Mix it all up and fill your vortex full to the brim. You've already done that. Enough to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes, but it doesn't stop you from adding more to it, because you are expansive, eternally expanding beings. So you keep asking, and the vortex is brimming with all that you're asking for. But more important, your vortex, this vibrational reality where all of your vibrational requests are going and held, there stands your inner being, in full understanding of everything that you've asked for, of everything that you desire, stands there in absolute vibrational sameness as all that you've asked for. So there is a part of you, a vibrational part of you. The same part of you that existed before you came into this physical body. It's the part of you that becomes more with every request you make. That inner being, source energy, God force, part of you, stands there in the fullness of all that you have vibrationally become, broadcasting a signal about that, which you got to line up with, or you're not going to feel good. When life causes you to expand to something more, a new experience causes a new desire. That new desire has to be met, or it's always going to feel off to you. That annoys some of you. If I could just stop wanting, the fact that I don't let myself have it wouldn't bother me so much. But you can't stop. You can't shut that down. You can't shut down your observation. You can't shut down your personal perspective. You can't shut down your personal desire for expansion. You can't turn that engine off. It's always going. It's always going. So if you want to be joyful, and you do, we know you do, the only choice you have is to close that gap between beliefs that don't match desires. We said to you in the very early days of visiting with you, as we were flowing through Esther, when you want something and you believe it, then it is, and it is fast. But if you want it and doubt it, if you want it and don't believe it, if you want it and worry about it, if you want it and keep explaining why you want it, I really want this because I don't have it, because I'm in this kind of pain without it. As you're justifying or defending or rationalizing or really explaining to anybody why you need anything, you keep practicing the vibration that holds it away from you. You got to talk about what you want and why you want it. You can't talk about what you want and why you don't have it. You've got to talk about it as if it is. You've got to feel it as if it is. You've got to make it feel real to you before it can come. Humans say, well, I'll believe it when I see it. And we say, unfortunately, you're not going to see it anytime soon if you need to believe it before you can see it. Oh, you can see some things that others have experienced that are easy to believe. It's easy to believe that chair's sitting there. Yesterday, someone tried to convince us there were 4 of them. It's easy to believe the things that have manifested fully. It's easy to believe things that you can translate with your physical senses, your eyes and ears. You see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. That's a translation of vibration. But that's manifestation that is already in place. An observation of manifestation that is already in place is often the big bugaboo that keeps you from manifesting something that isn't already in place. Because your attention to what is so vivid, so strong, so consuming, so constant, that often your awareness of how it is prevents it from changing. Oh, it's changing all the time, really. Different places, different faces. But the essence of your life continues to be as you expect it to be. So, Esther hears herself, and we tease her about it incessantly. She hears herself explaining how, well, it's been that way. It's always been like that. That's just the way that is. And we often say, when we sneak up on her, when she's not broadcasting that, it can be any way you want it to be. You don't have to keep regurgitating what is. Things do change. They just keep changing to the same thing if you keep focusing on the same way things are. Things are always changing. Do you want them to change to something different, or you want them to keep changing into more of what they already are? Because they're changing constantly. Because it's fresh and new. It's constantly changing. It's constantly changing, constantly changing. Do you want it to change to the same thing? Do you want it to change to something that's new and different? Do you want it to change to something that's better? Do you want it to change to more that's like it's already been? Different places, different faces, same thing. You want something different? You got to think about it in a different way. So that's what we're all about here, isn't it? Finding a way to look at life through the lens of broader perspective, to look at life through the eyes of Source, to begin catching glimpses of who you really are and what you really want. Because you are creators. You want to accomplish the mastery of creation, which means you want to know about law of attraction. You want to understand that it's always consistent. You want to know how it feels within you. You want to know what your emotions are. You want to know why your emotions are your guidance system. You want to know why your guidance system feels the way it does under differing situations. Here's why. As you are in step 1 asking, as the contrast is helping you know what you don't want so you know what you do want, you're launching these rockets of desire, and your inner being, your source, what man wants to call God, stands in that vibrational reality, in what we are calling your vortex of creation, stands there holding steady the vibration of your furthest request, your furthest expansion. There, that larger part of you stands, offering that frequency, offering that knowing, that opinion, that point of view, being that prosperous being that you've asked to be, being that confident being that you've asked to be, being that flexible, fun-loving, joyous being that you've asked to be, being that. So here you are in relationship to that, with your brain, with your personality, with your habit of thought, with your mannerisms, with your approach to life. Here you are in some relationship with that expanded part of you. So when you're focused upon something in appreciation, you are an exact match to the opinion, to the perspective, to the knowing, to the being, to the attitude, to the mood of the source within you. And when you are in that kind of concert, there is no separation between you, and you feel wonderful. But if you're focused upon something, beating up on yourself or someone else, you're wrong, you shouldn't have done that, I don't approve of that, then you have found a mood, an opinion, an attitude that's so different from the way the source within you feels about exactly the same thing. And by the way, the source within you is focused upon exactly the same thing from the point of view that the source within you holds. So now you've got a differing vibrational situation going on, and that's what your emotions are. The more different the knowing or the believing or the pointing at or the active vibration between your inner being and you, the more different, then the stronger the negative emotion. So if you feel despair, you're really looking at something different than the way Source is looking at it. And it's the same thing. That's the thing that we really want you to hear. Looking at exactly the same thing. Sometimes, dear hearts, you are willing to put up with those negative emotions. We don't know why anyone would, when the option of feeling good is so available, so readily available. But you got to practice it a little bit, because law of attraction is responding to where you are, and that's the rub. Law of attraction gives you more of how you feel. Oh, you don't like that? Here's some more. Now, law of attraction isn't delivering it to you with the glee that we are. Law of attraction isn't taking any delight in you getting more of what you don't want. But it does keep coming, doesn't it? And in attention to anything, wanted or unwanted, law of attraction causes a momentum to occur. And so the more momentum, then the more power. You know that. Go 100 miles an hour and hit something. It's harder on what you hit than if you're going 5 miles an hour, yes? Momentum does add power and speed. Things happen faster with more momentum. So if you sort of don't want something, it's sort of coming to you sort of slowly. If you really don't want it, and you really talk about it a lot, then it's coming to you really now. Have you noticed? Law of attraction doesn't let up. Esther's been looking for the on and off switch for a long time. There isn't one. But when you go to sleep at night, the momentum does subside. And so that's a really good opportunity when you wake up in the morning to give your attention to things that do feel good, to get out of bed on the right side, so to speak, to get